Okay, so that was actually a great example. I couldn't really do it on video because I couldn't do 3 things at once. But if she sees somebody who is walking by the house and she growls, I don't overcorrect her, but I am like, no, like, you don't get to comment on people minding their own business. And so I'll just give her like a nope. And at first I'll just try to kick her off my lap. If she continues to growl, I would then put her on the ground or potentially do a light leash pop. And then once she settles, once she can look, once she disengages, once she looks back at me, then I will put her back in that position. But sitting elevated and sitting on my lap, this is a privilege, not a right. And if you're going to make comments unnecessarily at people, you will lose said privilege. So when it comes to little dogs, this is something to be very aware of. There is nothing wrong with your little dog being in your lap and being elevated as long as you are being consistent about what's okay and what's not. And no, you don't get to sit on my lap and yell at the people who are walking by who are not bothering you. Unacceptable. But you can watch, you can listen, you can hang out. All of that's very acceptable. Barking, growling, no. The times for me that it would be acceptable to bark or growl is if somebody is physically coming towards the dog onto the property. To me, that is very fair. They're allowed to have a growl, a bark, something to say, but the person has to be physically coming towards them. If they are minding their own business, your dog should not say a word. And that is how, when I play guard dog on the porch, those are the rules, if you will. That's a good choice. Good girl, Tip. Good job. Good girl. Good girl. Very nice. Okay, now here's a little bit more of the gray area of this. So she didn't growl or bark at my neighbor pulling out of the driveway, which she previously has, so I praised her and told her she did a really good job. She then, good girl, barely said anything as a woman walked by, but then like at the very end did kind of a grumble under her breath. I was like, ooh, that's better, so I'm not going to correct that. And you can see how that could be challenging and confusing for owners when they're like, okay, well, when do I correct and when do I reward? And so when she growled, I just took my hand off her and I didn't say anything, so I didn't correct her, but I didn't reinforce her. Then we just had a bike pass and she didn't say anything about that, so that's great. So yeah, there can definitely be, you're not going to have perfect timing when you're doing this, but just be aware of what you're reinforcing. And I think that's your mother. Is that your mom?